Welcome to week 5. You are doing really well. You keep showing up and you're making a difference in your world and the world of all those people around you. We're really delighted you're here. Keep up the great work. It's about showing up a little bit at a time and making a small change that's going to add up and accumulate in a different destination for you. You will have a different outcome to your life because you're doing this now, and it's really worth it. Thank you all for all the comments and feedback that we love the engagement and the excitement you all have. It's just delicious for us, very inspiring. And we're bringing you the very best we have to offer. We hope it's helping. So this week we're talking about fight, flight, freeze to
Hmm.
start out with. Would you like to give a little synopsis?
Sure. Most people have heard of the fight or flight reflex, and they think that those are the choices. And well, the interesting thing is with trauma, if you actually fight, even if you lose or you run and they find you, it's less traumatic than the freeze. The freeze is where our energy just gets stuck. The parking brake is stuck on, it's got rust on it, and there's a process that we're going to be showing you about how to unfreeze that energy. And I've noticed something, Kathy, that as I've gotten to know some of the most exceptional people that I've ever met, people who can be present regardless of whether someone is in a happy mood
Yeah.
or whether they're sobbing, that they bring the same quality of presence to it,
Mhm.
and whether they are dancing like they really know what they're doing, or they're dancing like, I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm feeling good. And since I'm feeling good, I must be a good dancer. They have that kind of emotional freedom that when
Mhm.
I heard about emotional freedom techniques, I wanted that for myself. I wanted to be able to be free in my action. And there's
Yeah.
something that these people have in common. It's not that they weren't traumatized. It's not that they had a perfect life and perfect parents.
Very few people have.
One of the things that they've done is taken the traumatic moments of their life, unfrozen them, and collected that energy back into their present time. I remember when I was growing up, I had some traumas about singing and dancing and moving. And especially when I grew 6 inches in one summer, I was so awkward
Mhm.
that I lost my connection to my body. And there were a number of traumas in gymnastics and out on the playground and on the soccer field that really locked in that sense that I'm awkward and weak.
Oh.
Tapping helped to free that up. My body literally moves differently. And when I'm out, I'm doing things like dance that I never, if you'd asked me 30 years ago, young man,
Or
but I
even
was
10
not a
years.
dancer.
Yeah, even 10 years ago, you wouldn't have thought of it.
I had started to.
Okay.
Things like meditation and things like coming into a connection with what you really want to do,
Hmm.
those are things that give your energy a direction and a hope and a dream. But the specific events, the shocks, the whys that never got answered,
Hmm.
those acted to freeze my energy and freeze my identity at a place that was not a powerful place.
Yeah.
And the people that I know that I really enjoy having as a part of my circle, this is something they have in common. And Dr. Scare pointed out that there are animal studies that show that it's not the animal that has never been traumatized
Hmm.
that is the most resilient. It is true that the animal that has been traumatized and put into a freeze response and was never given the chance to come out of it is weak. It is vulnerable. But the most resilient animal, including the human animal, is the one that did freeze and came out of it and recollected that energy and resiliency that comes with it.
Hmm.
And that's what we really are focusing on this week.
Yes, we want you to be able to face life, because life happens and there's some of it's really amazing and some of it's really kind of scary in the moment.
Yeah.
We want you to be able to walk through the world knowing that you can handle what comes up. Just like the chicks that Robert Scare worked with, where, they took chicks that had no trauma and chicks that had been frozen, like they held them so they were scared because they didn't know humans, and they didn't allow them to shake off the freeze response. And then they had ones that they held and then they let them shake it off. The chicks that had learned to shake it off, those were the ones that survived the best and bounced back the fastest. And we're not saying that life won't happen to you. We want you to
Right.
bounce like crazy. We want you to be back up and doing what's right for you and the people you love really quickly. And that's such a powerful thing to have. I see people that, two people go through the same thing, um, even PTSD studies where two people are exposed to the same problem, the same situation, and one is devastated and doesn't know how to heal themselves, and they're just stuck in that loop of pain and worry and uncertainty. And the other one's like, wow, that really sucked. Okay, here's what I do. I take care of myself. I give myself some time to heal. I get some support. Okay, a month later, they're literally the same event. One person, might be on disability and just really struggling with their health, and another person might be going, huh, okay, that was really tough and I'm still cleaning it up, but I'm here, I'm okay. And it's not about one person being better than the other.
Right.
It's about the skill sets and their willingness to apply them.
And we tend to hang with sensitive people,
Mm-hmm.
maybe even really sensitive people. And really sensitive people add such richness to life,
Mm-hmm.
but it's sometimes harder to make it through childhood as a sensitive soul.
Yes.
And the good news is that I've worked with clients in their 70s where their frozen energy was back when they were 10.
Mm-hmm.
And when you unfreeze a specific event, and we're going to talk and tap you through that. We're
Mm-hmm.
going to show you how to do inner tapping. When you do that, you reclaim a part of you. I remember this one client, she was in her 70s, and when she unfroze an event from when she was 10, she started skipping. She hadn't skipped in 60 years,
Yeah.
but she had the energy and actually the coordination to be able to reactivate parts of herself. So the bad news about trauma is that it feels like it's now, even though it
Mm-hmm.
was 10, 20, 60 years ago. The
Our
good news,
brain doesn't distinguish past from present. Our cognitive brain understands time. That was back then, this is now. Primitive subconscious brain does not understand that, thinks everything is happening right now if it's frozen there.
right? The associations are live and active right now.
Yep.
And the energy that's frozen is live and frozen right now. And when you go through this process and you unfreeze that energy, you do. It can be tiring at first. You can feel like, wow, oh my gosh, that was a big deal.
Yeah.
And you may need a nap. You may need
Mm-hmm.
to comfort and ground yourself. And that energy, I know, you don't even have to do anything. It's something that's going to be coming back to you,
Mm-hmm.
empowering you. And if you want to make that a conscious process, which I find really fun, we have a recording this week about that too. How to bring that energy back and feel it changing you, reactivating you in an empowering way.
Yes. So, one of the things that happens is over our lifetime, we've built up a lot of these trauma bubbles. And as we just said, they're stored as present tense. If you imagine that you had a bunch of radios playing, one for each trauma event, and some
Mm,
TV, maybe some TVs playing, all around you are different loops where it's playing a 5, 2, 10, 60-minute loop over and over and over again of something bad that happened that you're stuck in. Can you imagine the noise all around you?
uh,
The energy it would take. Each time you clear a specific event, it's like you get to turn the radio either down or off.
off.
And you get to divert the energy that went to paying attention to that, to running that radio, into your present life. You bring that energy forward, you bring that part of you into your life and add that power and that alignment. And I know it used to be so noisy up here. There was constant thoughts and worries and like multiple layers of them. And it's amazing how quiet my brain is now. I couldn't have even guessed or asked for this back then because I didn't know it was possible. But it's just that when I think about something I want to do, I still have a few radios playing and I'm still working through clearing stuff. But in general, it's really quiet. I can think of, well, there's some possibilities. This might work and this might not work. And it's not that I'm not aware of the problems that could come up, but I'm not bombarded with every fear and every possibility from the past of how things could go horribly wrong. So if you've been having trouble moving forward in your life, it may not be that you're not courageous. It may not
Mm.
be that you don't have a strong desire. It might be that you have so many radios playing that it's really hard to see the possibilities and they're taking up a lot of your energy.
I'll speak for myself that quieting that noise, turning off those, what happens is that if something comes up, like someone doesn't want to dance with me,
Mm-hmm.
now that's a rejection on some level. When the radios were on, every one of them that was related to rejection that had ever occurred in my life would.
Crank the volume.
She doesn't want you. She doesn't love you. She thinks you're ugly,
See,
skinny,
yeah,
fugly, whatever. And when we work on specific events, when we reclaim that energy, now it's just like, oh, is rejection really what's happening here? No, that person's taking care of themselves. They have their preferences, and they don't match up with mine right now. Yeah, that's
yeah,
good. It frees up my energy. Now where do I want to go with it? Oh, and that's such a huge difference. I
mm-hmm.
want that for everyone.
Yeah,
It is something that is possible, and the things that we've done already has built up resiliency. You've addressed many different types of emotions: disappointment and loss, grief, shame, anger. Now, as you go into specific events, you've been there before.
yeah,
And it allows you in present time to bring that resource back into an event where your energy is frozen.
yes. Could we do some tapping? I'd like to tap congratulating all the work that's gone so far. A lot of times we don't appreciate ourselves for what we've done. We
Mm.
keep looking at our to-do list and all
Yeah.
the things we want to do, and we still have to finish
All
week
those radios
5, and
still
then there's
on.
week 6, and I haven't finished week 4 homework, and yeah, all the radios that are still on. And realize that appreciating yourself gives you energy for the journey. It inspires you forward. So I invite you to take part in this. Take a nice deep breath. Feel your feet on the floor, your butt in the chair. Be present with your body if you can. And notice your fingertips as they tap on you. Karate chop. Even though this has been a lot of work,
Even though this has been a lot of work
and it's taken a lot of courage,
and it's taken a lot of courage,
I am really proud of myself.
I am really proud of myself.
Even though there's still more to do,
Even though there's still a lot more to do,
and I have a bunch of radios playing,
and I have a bunch of radios playing.
at least I know I have radios playing,
At least I know I have radios playing,
and I know how to turn them off.
and I know how to turn them off.
In fact, I've already turned some of them
In
off.
fact, I've already turned some of them off,
And some of them I've turned down a little bit.
and some of them I've turned down a lot.
That gives me a lot more freedom than I used to have.
That gives me so much more freedom than I used to have.
And to most people,
And to most people,
what I've already done is a miracle.
what I've already done is a miracle.
Top of the head, they don't know how to be quiet.
They don't know how to be quiet.
Eyebrow, the only solutions they have are drugs or alcohol.
The only solutions they have are drugs or alcohol
Side of the eye, or major distractions.
or major distractions.
Under the eye, I'm learning a better way.
I am learning a better way.
Under the nose, I found a magical secret.
I found a magical secret.
Chin, I'm pretty powerful.
I'm pretty powerful.
collarbone. This may take a little time
This may take a little time,
under the arm, and I'm getting better at it each time I do it.
and I'm getting better at it each time I do it.
Top of the head. I wonder what I can create.
I wonder what I can create.
And I'm so proud of me.
And I'm so proud of me.
Nice deep breath.
Wiggle your toes. Let that sink in. Maybe give yourself, your knees, a little squeeze of appreciation and
Rub your arms.
connection.
Yeah.
Give yourself a little hug. Ah. So, this week we're going to be talking about the fight, flight, freeze some more. We're going to be going over specific events and inner tapping, how you can use those. And we're going to be talking about shock, the things that just kind of come out and, came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Those are important for you to realize and even look at specific events in your life and to tune into, hey, have I left any shocks, left myself shocked into a freeze response in any aspect of something that's part of what I want to do in my life, part of the confidence that I want to have? Is there something related? Is my primitive brain making an association to, it never wants to go back there.
Yeah.
Freeze is not something that your primitive brain ever wants to experience because it is a state of disempowerment. It's really useful if you can't fight or run, but it will do a lot to throw the parking brake on to keep you from a freeze response. We'll also touch on the big why, those unanswered questions that keep our brain obsessing, trying to figure it out. And it really does make us feel
A hamster
crazy.
in a wheel. You can never get out.
Right, exactly. And so, yeah, this is potent stuff that you're
Yeah.
working through. And we're very proud of you.
Keep it up.